You found yourself on another edition of Let 'em Know Kings United. Took a couple of days off, but I'm back. On today's show, the Cleveland Cavaliers rebound from one of their worst losses of the season and get right against Charlotte. Sabonis is the new Mr. Double-Double as the Kings beat the Sixers. And there are literally no words how embarrassed I am as a Bulls fan watching the Wizards with half of their roster out humiliate the Bulls. We got a lot to talk about on Let 'em Know Kings United. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for the post-game reaction podcast of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, and the Chicago Bulls. This is Let 'em Know Kings United. Let 'em Know Nation, you already know what time it is. Welcome to another edition of Let 'em Know Kings United, your Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, and Chicago Bulls post-game reaction podcast. I'm your host, Carlo Weisberg. Thank you so much for tuning into today's program. You can find this show, which is absolutely free and available on your favorite podcast app like Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all that good stuff. And you can also find this show on my YouTube channel, NJHawk40. If you are watching this show on YouTube, do me a favor, hit the like button on this video, hit subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on that notification, hit that notification bell so you know when the next time Let 'em Know Kings United goes live on YouTube. And please leave a nice comment down below because I am going to drop some bombs that I never thought that I would do, but I am so frustrated with one of our three teams, and you probably might know what team that I am frustrated on, but nevertheless, give the show a follow on those platforms if you can. Please turn on your notifications so you know about the next episode. Please rate, spread the word out to your friends, and give Let 'em Know Kings United a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. It is a great way to support the podcast, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you for tuning into the program. I took a couple of days off from this past weekend, which is why I didn't recap the Bulls' loss to the Celtics, the Cavs' embarrassment to the Miami Heat, the Sacramento Kings continuing to play their best brand of basketball, even though they had a really horrible loss against the Washington Wizards. They were able to bounce back against the Orlando Magic, which is a good team, by the way, and a dark horse in the Eastern Conference. So big win for the Sacramento Kings at that period in time. I'm going to talk about the Sacramento Kings next because Sabonis made some freaking history, and I am really proud of him for that, and I'm really proud of the Sacramento Kings. But I want to start by just having a little bit of a venting session. And maybe drop a little bit of pipe bombs, a little F-bombs. So if you are a kid that is listening to this, I'm sorry for what I'm about to do, but it's just the passionate side of me, okay? When I'm rooting for one of my teams, it's just the passion that's in me, which is why I care about the Bulls, which is why I care about the Kings, which is why I care about the Cleveland Cavaliers. But what the Bulls did last night is an absolute shit show. A fucking disgrace, 107-105 to a Washington Wizards team that quite frankly had G League players. The only regular starters that Washington had were Corey Kispert, Jordan Poole, and that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. They had two regular starters last night. No Landry Shamet, no Danny Advia, no Kyle Kuzma, and you didn't fucking show up. You did not show up. A 15-0 spurt to start the game. This Bulls team is complacent. I've been saying that all year, and this game proved that. This game proved that. I mean, it's one thing to lose to the Washington Wizards, to have Danny Advia, Kyle Kuzma, Landry Shamet, among all those guys that I mentioned that were hurt. If you lost to the Wizards and have those guys playing, I get it. But 10 games left in the season. 10 games left to one of the most miserable seasons in Chicago Bulls franchise history. And you show up like that. You show up giving no effort, no respect, no credibility, no leadership, no coaching. Billy Donovan, I am putting it on you, bro. Having Alex Caruso come off the bench and putting Torrey Craig in the starting lineup, what the fuck for? What the fuck for? I'm guessing if you want to put Torrey Craig in the starting lineup for defensive purposes, then I guess I could concede to that. But the Bulls defense has played one of the worst defenses in the league because they don't know how to gang rebound. They don't know how to box out. They don't know how to get over screens. The only guy that actually gives a damn about playing defense in the Chicago Bulls is Alex Caruso, who should have been team captain years ago when this front office put Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, and Alex Caruso together. But this front office is so complacent and so casual about being competitive. Fuck that shit. Fuck that competitive shit. You need to do better. We need to trade Nikola Vucevic. We need to trade DeMar DeRozan. Even though DeMar DeRozan had 27 points tonight, I really do not give a damn. Because this is not about the Bulls' fake-ass comeback attempt against one of the worst teams in the league. You disrespectfully did not want to play. And the Washington Wizards outworked, out-hustled, and just outplayed y'all. And I need to give the Washington Wizards a whole lot of credit here. A whole lot of credit. For a team that has won only 13 games coming into this game. Only 13. The Washington Wizards look more like a playoff-ready team, and the Chicago Bulls look like one of the worst teams in the NBA. That's just me being brutally honest. But then again, with a front office, with AK and Eversley being so fucking complacent, then what is there to say? What is there to say? I knew that the Bulls were not going to go anywhere. I knew it. I should have not fell into this facade of the Bulls trying to make 500, trying to get at 500. I should not fall into this facade that I thought that the Bulls were going to be better with no Zach LaVine, with no Patrick Williams. I thought with all the injured guys we were going to get better. But perhaps I was fooled like every single Bulls fan that watched this game tonight. You know what? The Atlanta Hawks showed more heart than you. And the Atlanta Hawks were down 30. We're down 30 against one of the best teams in the NBA, if not the best team in the NBA in the Boston Celtics. And they came back and won. What does that tell you? The Atlanta Hawks are getting healthy at the right time, which is bad news for Chicago, because now with this loss, that shouldn't happen. You should have won. This was supposed to be a get-right game. This was supposed to be a type of game where Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu was going to get rest, but that didn't happen because you did not show up. A 15-0 spurt to start the game. What does that tell ya? This team is ill-prepared. And I blame coaching for this. I blame coaching. I blame the players. I just blame everybody. Not a single goddamn person wearing a Bulls jersey deserves the benefit of the doubt. Not a single one. Nobody. Everybody should be embarrassed of this. Because we shouldn't lose to a Washington Wizards team that, again, has only won 13 games coming in. And they came in to the United Center and just punked y'all. They punked the Chicago Bulls in every single aspect of the damn game. We didn't want it. We didn't want it. I was watching this game and I thought this couldn't get any worse. The Bulls took a lead, but only lasted 2 minutes. And then at one point, the Bulls had a 5-6 minute drought where they couldn't score again. I don't know what has to happen in the offseason to wake the Bulls up, but I'm already seeing a quote that DeMar DeRozan that's saying, we can't do this, 10 games left. No excuses. No excuses. I mean, DeMar's right. DeMar's right to a certain extent. There is no excuses with 10 games left of the season, but there's no fucking excuse for losing a game like that against one of the worst teams in the NBA, which is at the bottom of the cellar, that wants to get this season over with. And you played like the worst team in the league. You decided to not show up when you gave up a 15-0 run in the beginning of the game. You decided to dig yourself a little bit of a hole and try to do a fake-ass comeback. You decided to show no heart. You decided to show no fight. You decided to show no grit. And because of that, now the Atlanta Hawks are 1.5 games back of the loss column. You know what that means? This play-in game that this front office is calling precious? A precious play-in game between the Bulls and the Hawks, which will likely happen, will now likely be in the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, instead of the United Center. And I pray to God that happens, because this front office does not deserve to get any money. Did not deserve to get any money from the fan base. I hate ranting like this. I really, really do. But if the Bulls show up and play like a goddamn cellar, that's exactly what they're going to get. There's no hope. No hope. 9 games left. I think the Bulls are going to lose every one of them. I really honestly think the Bulls are not going to go anywhere. They're going to get into the play-in. They're going to get eliminated. And here's a spoiler alert for you. The front office is not going to do a damn thing. They're going to keep Vucevic. They're going to keep Caruso. They're going to extend DeMar DeRozan to a contract that, honestly, quite frankly, he deserves. And they're not going to trade Zach LaVine. The only good thing that we're hoping for is Lonzo Ball coming back. I heard he's clear for basketball activities. That's the only positive thing that I can take away from this. This is embarrassing. Embarrassing, lifeless crap. Bullshit. And that's putting it lightly. As far as I'm concerned, the Bulls are dead to me. I love Chicago. I love the United Center. But as far as the Bulls, they're dead to me. They are dead to me. I cannot wait to watch the Pacers kick the Bulls' ass all over the United Center on Wednesday night. And that's not me giving you a prediction. It's going to be a spoiler, because the Indiana Pacers are going to outclass the Bulls again, because this Bulls team has proven to me all year that they have no mentality, they have no heart, they have no ability to lock the hell in. And defensively, we are terrible. We do not know how to fight through screens. We don't know how to gang rebound. We don't know where our help coverages are. We don't know how to lock in on both ends. This Bulls team has no mentality. This Bulls team has no leadership. This Bulls team has no accountability. And I blame the coaching staff, but I blame the players. There's not a single reason why the Bulls should be shaking the Washington Wizards' hands after the game. That is embarrassing. You should look yourselves in the mirror and say to ourselves, this is embarrassing. We cannot do this again. We need to lock in the rest of the year. 9 games left. 9 games left, and then this miserable, horrible, terrible, horrible Bulls season comes to an end. Show me that you can be better. Just show me. Until then, I'm going to root against the Bulls until the Bulls show me that they can be better. You got what you deserved tonight. You got what you deserved. All credit to the Washington Wizards. They wanted it from the jump. But the Bulls, quite frankly, got what they deserved. Coming up next, we're going to talk about some positive news and talk about Domantas Sabonis making history for the most double-double since the NBA-ABA merger. That's coming up next on Let 'Em Know Kings United. We're back on Let 'Em Know Kings United, and now that I got the negative venting rant session out of the way, I want to talk about a big positive from last night. As a matter of fact, there are two big positives that we need to talk about, but first and foremost, let's all acknowledge the new double-double king, the triple-double leader, the MVP candidate, Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis. He had his NBA-leading 25th triple-double of the season on a milestone night. Sabonis also posted his 54th consecutive double-double, breaking a tie with the Miami Heat's own Kevin Love for the longest streak since the NBA and ABA merger back in 1976. Sabonis is nowhere close to the all-time record of 227 straight double-doubles held by Wilt Chamberlain. If he broke that record of 227 consecutive double-doubles, I mean, that would have been absolutely insane. That would have been absolutely crazy. It would absolutely be like mind-blowing. However, he became the 5th player in NBA history with at least 25 triple-doubles in a season, joining Russell Westbrook, Nikola Jovic, Oscar Robertson, and Wilt Chamberlain. What Domantas Sabonis is doing on a nightly basis for the Sacramento Kings is just absolutely special. But yet again, the media is praising Devin Booker. The media is praising Karl Anthony Towns. The media is praising Paul George. A couple of all-stars that were picked ahead of Domantas Sabonis, and Domantas Sabonis went like, hold my beer. You're not going to talk about me? You're not going to respect me? You're not even going to acknowledge me? Okay. Watch me make history. Watch me get 54 double-doubles. One behind a Sacramento Kings franchise record for the most double-doubles in Sacramento franchise history. He could do it tonight against the Dallas Mavericks, but that won't be easy though, because Daniel Gafford is an absolute monster, and since the Dallas Mavericks got the trade to Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, the Dallas Mavericks look like contenders in the Western Conference. So it's easy for me to say that the next two games for the Sacramento Kings are absolute, like, big-time playoff matchups. They're both at home, by the way. They're both at home. Let's not forget that. I thought it was going to be a home-and-home, one game at the Golden One Center and one game in the American Airlines Center, but they are both inside the Golden One Center. So to say that these two games are critical for Sacramento, that's not an understatement. That is just a straight-up fact. If the Sacramento Kings could find a way to win one or both games at Golden One against the Dallas Mavericks, that would be absolutely huge. But anyway, the Sacramento Kings won against the Portland Trailblazers 108-96 behind a historic making night for Domantas Sabonis. It was the only it was historic, it was epic, it was absolutely incredible for me to watch. But as far as the Philadelphia 76ers, you had only one guy show up, and that was Tyrese Maxey, who scored nearly 30 points. And the 76ers wrapped up a one-third West Coast swing. Philadelphia dropped to 8th place in the Eastern Conference, a half game behind the Miami Heat. So shout out to the Sacramento Kings as far as the Miami Heat. For all my Miami Heat fans out there, all members of Heat Nation, the Sacramento Kings did you a solid favor. A solid favor. Now the Miami Heat needs to take care of business tonight against the Golden State Warriors. But I want to talk about Domantas Sabonis. Mike Brown said about Domas, what a phenomenal year he's having. Obviously, he should have been an all-star. You're damn right he should have been an all-star. He should have talked about it. He should have talked about our first, second, third All-NBA, and he should be in the MVP discussions the way that he's been playing. Straight up facts. Keegan Murray and De'Aaron Fox also had really good games for Sacramento. Each scored 23 points, who snapped a 10-game skid against the 76ers to move into a tie for 6th place in the Western Conference with the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavs play the Kings on Tuesday night as the teams fight to remain in the top 6 and avoid the play-in tournament. I am going to be locked the heck in for those games. Nick Nurse was talking about how Tyrese Maxey went off for 19 points in the first half, but the Sacramento Kings, Maxey was held to only 3 points in the second half. Only 3 points. And I gotta give credit to the Sacramento Kings defense. I think at this point of the season, the Kings are just loving how to play defense. I talked about a couple of shows ago how the Sacramento Kings are getting hot. They are peaking at the right time. And I think this defensive performance, containing Tyrese Maxey to only 3 points in the second half, that's not only impressive, that is just an absolute phenomenal performance by Sacramento defensively. Nick Nurse talked about it. He said they started blitzing everything with him. We didn't do a great job of taking advantage of that. We've been really good at it lately, and tonight we weren't good. Maxey scored Philadelphia 16 points and was a one-man show offensively with 21 of the 25 points, 84% for the Philadelphia 76ers. No player in at least 28 seasons had scored a higher share of his team points in the first quarter with at least 20 points scored. Maxey topped the previous high of 83% by Michael Jordan for the Wizards against Charlotte the Hornets at the time on December 29th, 2001. But Tyrese Maxey didn't get enough help as the Sixers trailed 60-48 at halftime. And for the most part, Sacramento just took over. I thought the Kings did an amazing job of just standing on and taking care of business against a team in Philadelphia that is completely and clearly shorthanded with no Joel Embiid. Davion Mitchell said he didn't really acknowledge that what he did was amazing to do in this league, but it's amazing to see him do it, especially to be on the same team with him. That is a blessing. Philadelphia played without Kelly Oubre, who was sidelined by a sore left shoulder sustained in the fall on Sunday against the Clippers, but he healed. Also left the game early with an ankle injury. The x-rays were negative. But tonight is only about one man. Tonight is about Domantas Sabonis. This man should be an MVP candidate. This man is a first All-NBA. This man is third All-NBA. This man is just special. And if the Kings continue to ride this wave, they are going to go places. I'm not underscoring the fact that these next 2 games against the Dallas Mavericks are freaking huge now. I'm not underscoring that fact. But the way that Domas is playing right now, the way that Sacramento is playing on both ends of the floor, both offensively and defensively, this team is finding ways to win at a critical time. You talk about peaking at the right time. You talk about clicking at the right time. This Sacramento Kings team is doing it, and if they can get at least 1 game against the Dallas Mavericks, I prefer 2, but if you get at least 1 game against the Mavs with a win, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But Domantas Sabonis, acknowledge your king. Acknowledge Mr. Double-Double. Acknowledge Mr. Triple-Double. And now, I can safely say, acknowledge your MVP, Domantas Sabonis. 44% for the field for Sacramento, 42% for the Philadelphia 76ers. The rebounds were 47-40 in favor of Philadelphia. The assist numbers were 25-18 in favor of Sacramento. The steals were 6-2 Sac. Blocks were 6-4 Sacramento. 52-42 points in the paint, 15-10 fast break points, all in favor of Sacramento. The Sacramento Kings won this game by only committing 8 turnovers tonight compared to 15 for Philadelphia. I thought that was impressive. I'm only going to acknowledge Tyrese Maxey for Philadelphia because he was the only man that showed up for them. Nearly 30 points with 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 10 of 16 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3. Basically, Philadelphia did not show up much more like the Chicago Bulls. As for the Sacramento Kings, Domantas Sabonis only had 5 shots tonight, which I didn't really like. Because Domantas Sabonis was in foul trouble all night, but he did find a way to make some history. 11 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 5 of 8 for the foul line. Mr. Triple-Double did it again. History-making performance for him. Davion Mitchell, monster game off the bench. 18 points, 6 of 9 for the field with 2 rebounds. Keegan Murray, 23 points. 4 assists, 3 rebounds. De'Aaron Fox, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. And one more thing that I need to mention, Keon Ellis, who only finished this game with 5 points in 24 minutes. He got into foul trouble, and I love the fact that his teammates found a way to pick him up. That is the character of this team. A milestone win for Sacramento on a history-making night. Congratulations to Domantas Sabonis, the new double-double king in all of the NBA. Coming up next, the Cleveland Cavaliers got a monster response of a victory against the Portland Trail Blazers in one of their most impressive bounce-back wins of the year, and we're going to talk about it when we come back on Let 'Em Know Kings United. Welcome back to Let 'Em Know Kings United, and a day after the Cleveland Cavaliers got absolutely embarrassed, absolutely humiliated, and to a certain extent, they got absolutely humbled by the Miami Heat. They came home against the Charlotte Hornets and responded accordingly. 115-92. Evan Mobley scored 17 points to lead Cleveland, but I want to talk about a play that set the tone for Cleveland. Marcus Morris Sr. threw a high intentional elbow that flattened one of the Hornets. I believe it was Nick Richards who received the elbow. Yeah, it was. He drilled Charlotte center Nick Richards in the draw midway through the second quarter. As Richards came into the lane, Morris delivered a head-high blow that wound up swinging the game. And Marcus Morris, I love the guy. I absolutely love this guy. I love what he brings to the Cleveland Cavaliers. He brings a sense of toughness. He brings a sense of physicality that clearly the Cleveland Cavaliers lacked a game before against the Miami Heat. He said after the game, and I quote, "I just wanted to be physical. Like I told the player, Richards, I wasn't trying to hurt him. I'm just trying to set the tone. You're rolling down the paint, catching lobs, and we're trying to stop that type of stuff. There's been a lot of grueling games, and I just wanted to toughen us up. Step in front of it. Like, this is what's going to be expected moving forward, not just for today. Set the precedent going into the playoffs. We're not about to have anybody coming in here and doing what they wanted to do. I wanted to play the game. I didn't want to get thrown out, but I definitely wanted to put a little lick on him. I was happy the way we responded." I want to talk about that for just a second. First of all, I admire Marcus Morris saying that. Because unlike most of this Cleveland Cavaliers team, he understands what it's like to win in the playoffs. Now, I don't condone what he did to Nick Richards. I don't condone that. I don't condone him getting ejected, which I absolutely agree with. But what I also agree with is the fact that the Cavaliers needed something to wake their behinds up. Because at the beginning of the game, Charlotte was just doing whatever the hell they wanted. They wanted to get in the paint, catch lobs, do whatever they wanted to do. As soon as the Cavaliers saw Nick Richards do what he did with the elbow, they were like, "Oh, see, this is what we need to do now, right? See, this is how we were supposed to play." And I credit the Cleveland Cavaliers for responding the way that they did. The Cavs were blown out by 37 against the Heat, who were up 45 at one point. The loss seemed to be rock bottom for a tired Cleveland team dealing with injuries and sliding backwards in the Eastern Conference standings. But in a matchup against the struggling Hornets was just what the Cavs needed to stop a 3-game losing streak. See, this was the real get-right game that the Chicago Bulls should have played in, but I'm not going to talk about the Bulls anymore. The Bulls are just straight dead to me. But anyway, Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen each scored 17 points as Cleveland bounced back from an embarrassing loss at Miami 24 hours earlier by beating the Hornets 115-92. Mobley also had a career-high 8 assists and 7 rebounds in 25 minutes in his second game back after he was sidelined by a sprained ankle. Jarrett Allen grabbed 13 boards. The Cavs started slowly, but took off after Morris, who has earned a tough guy reputation during 13 years, got ejected for drilling center Nick Richards midway through the second quarter. George Niang made 5 3-pointers and scored 17 for Cleveland, which had lost 6 of 8 coming in, just 4 games clear of a play-in spot after being among the East top teams for the last couple of months. For one of the few times in recent weeks, the Cavs played with a joy that has been missing. Cleveland finished with a season-high 41 assists on 46 made field goals. That is outstanding for Cleveland. Absolutely outstanding. I love the fact that they moved the ball. I love the fact that they shared the basketball. I love the fact that they responded really well after the Marcus Morris ejection. Now, he could hear from the NBA regarding the flagrant 2 foul, but the Cavs needed it. I felt that this was something that changed the game, honestly. It really changed the game from the Cavaliers' perspective. He said, I never really want to get ejected from the game. I still want to help my team, but I'm just happy we responded really well. Like I told the team, each of those games got to be treated like the playoffs. So if I got to lay somebody out every game and we're going to respond like that, then so be it. The Cavs remain without Donovan Mitchell, who's been out with a broken nose and a bruised left knee. Mitchell has played just 5 of 19 games since the break, and the Cavs have only had their starting lineup on the floor for 44 minutes since mid-February due to injuries. Cavs guard Max Strus, who missed his 12th straight game with a knee, and Dean Wade sat out his 4th in the row with a knee injury. So yeah, the Cavaliers are still shorthanded. Yeah, Cleveland is wounded going into the playoffs. But you know what? Although I don't condone what Marcus Morris did, I understand what he did. And in order for the Cavs to win this game, they needed someone to set the tone. They needed somebody to get physical and show Cleveland, hey, we're not going to allow anybody to come in here and do whatever the hell they wanted to do. So I credit Marcus Morris for setting the tone. I don't condone him for getting ejected, but nevertheless, it changed the tide of the game in Cleveland's favor, and they got a bounce back win. Great to see for Cleveland. Great to see. 53% for the field for Cleveland, 42% for Charlotte. The rebounds were 47-33 in favor of Cleveland. The assist, 41-22 in favor of Cleveland. That made the game right there. The steals were 5-4 in favor of Cleveland, or Charlotte, excuse me. Blocks were 43 Charlotte. The points of the paint were 50-36. The fast break points were 15-13 in favor of the Cleveland Cavaliers. For the Hornets, Brandon Miller, he's been really impressive. I really like what this rookie's been doing in the NBA. 24 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 8 of 18 from the field. Terrence Mann, or Trey Mann, 12 points, 7 rebounds. Off the bench, Podziemski, 11 points, 5 boards, 3 dimes, 2 steals. But as far as the Cleveland Cavaliers, Evan Mobley, 17 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Jarrett Allen, another double-double, 17 points, 13 rebounds, 4 dimes. DG finished with 15 points, 10 assists, another double-double for him. Off the bench, George Niang was outstanding, 17 points, 6-11 from the field, 5 of 10 from 3, with 2 assists and a couple of rebounds. Marcus Morris had only 3 points in 8 minutes, but understandably he got ejected. Sam Merrill, 12 points off the bench, doing the only thing that he does well, and that's shoot threes. He finished with 4 rebounds, 2 assists, going 4 of 8 from the field. All of his shots came from the three-point line. This was a great bounce back for Cleveland. A great bounce back win, a get-right win to a certain extent after coming off one of the worst losses of the season against a Miami Heat team that simply bullied y'all for 48 minutes. I love the fact that the Cavaliers responded the way that they did. Like I said earlier, I do not condone the fact that Marcus Morris got ejected for hitting a player in the elbow. I understand that player safety is absolutely paramount. He could hear from the NBA. He could get suspended, but nevertheless, he wanted to set the tone and wanted to challenge the Cavaliers to respond, and I think he did that in the best way possible, and that is a great bounce-back win. That's going to do it for today's edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United. Thank you for tuning in. As a reminder, you can find this show, which is free and available on your favorite podcast app like Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all that good stuff, as well as YouTube. Like this video if you are watching on YouTube. Hit subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell and leave a nice comment down below. Give the show a follow, turn on your notifications, and give Let 'Em Know Kings United a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And oh, by the way, thank you guys so much for helping me get to 552 plays. In total, we are close to 600, let alone 1,000 plays to Let 'Em Know Kings United. So keep the views coming, keep the listens coming, and keep spreading the word out to your friends, please. It really, truly means a lot. I'm your host, Scarlett Weisberg. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time for another episode of Let 'Em Know Kings United.